Some bikes look bulletproof until they are not. In 2025, some of the biggest, boldest Japanese motorcycles are falling apart fast. From engine failures to failing electronics, these machines are no longer reliable. We are counting down 14 iconic bikes that are breaking down when riders need them most. Number 14. Yamaha Raider 1900. With a long, low profile and a stretched tank that screams attitude, the Raider was Yamaha's attempt to dominate the factory custom cruiser market. Visually, it hit the mark. Under the surface, however, things start to fall apart. Literally. The Raider is powered by a massive air-cooled V-twin engine displacing 1,854 cubic centimeters. It delivers around 90 horsepower and 123 pound-feet of torque. On paper. It sounds like the perfect American-style muscle cruiser. In practice, it has left many owners stranded due to starter motor failures, unreliable stator output, and premature drive belt degradation. The electrical system in particular has proven fragile, especially as the bike passes the 40,000-mile mark. Fuel injection mapping is also hit or miss, with idle issues surfacing in colder climates. Braking comes courtesy of dual front discs and a single rear disc, while the suspension includes a conventional front fork and a hidden rear monoshock setup. With a wet weight of roughly 730 pounds and a low seat height of 27 inches, the Raider looks and feels intimidating, but the handling isn't forgiving. The front end feels vague at lean, and rear shock performance suffers on longer rides. When it was new, this cruiser came with a price tag around $15,799. Today, that value has plummeted, and not just because of age. This bike's reputation for electrical issues and belt failures has made it one to avoid on the used market. Even die-hard cruiser fans are realizing the Raider looks better in the garage than it performs on the road. It is not the only cruiser with muscle problems. The next one is even heavier, and it shows. Number 13. Suzuki Boulevard C109R. This bike is what happens when a company tries to blend cruiser aesthetics with performance metrics from a sport bike. It is massive, aggressive, and undeniably powerful. At the center of the bike is a liquid-cooled V-twin engine displacing 1,783 cubic centimeters. It produces a jaw-dropping 125 horsepower and 118 pound-feet of torque figures that rival even some supersport machines. Unfortunately, all that performance comes with serious downsides. The most notorious issue is the final drive unit, which has been known to fail under heavy torque. Clutch assemblies are also a weak point, often wearing prematurely or slipping under throttle. The water pump and cooling system components have shown a tendency to leak, especially in warmer climates. Braking is handled by dual front discs with radial-mounted calipers and a single rear disc. Suspension consists of an inverted front fork and a rear monoshock integrated into a single-sided swing arm. The entire chassis weighs around 765 pounds, making low-speed handling difficult and cornering more challenging than it should be. The long wheelbase adds stability at speed but reduces agility on tighter roads. This heavyweight cruiser carried a new price close to $13,499, but high repair costs and a dwindling part supply have seriously affected resale value. Riders who once praised the C109R for its raw power are now voicing frustration over frequent mechanical failures, limited service knowledge among dealers, and the increasing cost of ownership. It is a bold machine. But bold doesn't mean bulletproof, and time has not been kind. From fat-fendered regret to futuristic flameout, the next entry burns through more than just fuel. We picked out the gear that actually holds up. No gimmicks, no guesswork. Grab the must-haves in the description and ride smarter. Number 12. Yamaha VMax. Few motorcycles have a more imposing presence than the VMax. Born to destroy quarter-mile times and shred tires in the process, it became one of the most recognizable power cruisers on the road. The VMax features a beastly V4 engine displacing 1,679 cubic centimeters. It cranks out 174 horsepower and 113 pound-feet of torque numbers that would make any sport bike jealous. But with that performance came complexity. Owners have reported widespread issues with the electronic control unit, including misfires, throttle glitches, and sensor failures. Second gear often becomes problematic, especially under aggressive acceleration, with several riders experiencing missed shifts or outright transmission damage. Electrical gremlins extend to the lighting system, speedometer, and ignition module. Braking is handled by dual front discs with 6 piston calipers and a single rear disc. Suspension includes a fully adjustable telescopic fork and a link-type rear monoshock with preload and rebound settings. The VMax weighs about 683 pounds wet, and while its low seat height makes it accessible, maneuvering this heavyweight through traffic or parking lots is far from graceful. The riding position, although aggressive, becomes uncomfortable on longer trips due to limited leg stretch and hard seat padding. When new, the bike retailed for approximately $17,999. But today, the cost of maintaining a VMax often exceeds its resale value. As parts availability shrinks and diagnostic support becomes rarer, many owners are quietly walking away from this torque monster. Despite its legend status, the VMax now lives as a warning. Power without reliability is just a ticking clock. One high-performance monster down, but the next one was supposed to be a workhorse, not a breakdown magnet. All right, listen up. Hours of research, wrench-turning forums, and angry owner threads went into this. We did the digging so you don't have to. If that's not worth a quick subscribe, what is? Number 11. Honda Gold Wing. No touring motorcycle has symbolized long-distance luxury more than the Gold Wing. With a legacy dating back to the 1970s, this touring icon became a household name for comfort, reliability, and sheer mileage potential. However, models built between 2001 and 2017 are beginning to show their age, and not in flattering ways. One of the most reported issues involves the transmission, with owners complaining of slipping gears and poor shift engagement, particularly in higher mileage bikes. Alternator failures have also become increasingly common, resulting in loss of power delivery to key components like heated grips, navigation systems, and lighting. Adding to the concern is the growing scarcity of electronic modules and sensors, many of which require proprietary tools or dealership-only diagnostics. The power plant is a flat 6-cylinder engine with a displacement of 1,827 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 118 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. The braking system includes dual front discs and a single rear disc, while the suspension consists of a leading link front fork and a rear single-shock swing arm with electronic preload adjustment. Tipping the scales at 879 pounds wet, it is one of the heaviest bikes in its class. Despite its girth, the Gold Wing is surprisingly stable at speed, but slow-speed maneuvering requires both experience and confidence. Ergonomics are top-tier with plush seating, full wind protection, and ample luggage capacity. When new, these models range from $23,999 to upwards of $30,000 depending on trim. But today, maintenance complexity and aging components are giving even Gold Wing loyalists a reason to reconsider. Touring troubles aside, our next entry proves even naked bikes can unravel behind the scenes. Number 10. Yamaha FZ1. At first glance, the FZ1 appears to be a practical, performance-focused standard with clean lines and a strong engine. Dig a little deeper, and the issues begin to surface. Common complaints from long-term owners include severe throttle snatch in the low RPM range, premature ignition coil failures, and irregular fuel mapping that leads to engine surging. The heart of the bike is a detuned version of the R1's engine, delivering a solid balance of power and reliability when functioning properly. It is a 4-cylinder power plant with a displacement of 998 cubic centimeters, producing approximately 143 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. Despite that impressive spec sheet, the FZ1 struggles with fueling smoothness, especially in stop-and-go traffic. Braking is handled by dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a single rear disc, while the suspension consists of a conventional front fork and rear monoshock, both adjustable for preload and rebound. Weighing in at around 475 pounds wet, the bike handles well but can feel top-heavy during low-speed turns. The upright riding position makes it an appealing choice for commuting and weekend rides alike. Pricing when new hovered around $10,699, positioning it as an affordable alternative to sport bikes. However, recurring electrical issues, especially with the stator and regulator, have added to repair bills. Over time, these reliability flaws have eroded its reputation, turning what was once considered a hidden gem into a cautionary tale for buyers looking at older used inventory. Strip the fairings, expose the flaws, but what about a sport bike that needs to stay buttoned up? Number 9. Suzuki GSXR1000. It reigned supreme in the early 2000s, defining superbike performance for a generation. But while it once dominated the track and streets, early models from 2001 to 2010 have not aged gracefully. The timing chain tensioner is a well-documented weak point, often failing without warning and leading to catastrophic engine damage. The fairings and subframe components, while lightweight for their time, have become brittle with age, frequently cracking or warping due to prolonged heat exposure. The engine itself is an inline four-cylinder unit displacing 998 cubic centimeters, generating approximately 185 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque. That power still thrills, but maintaining it is a different story. Braking is handled by dual front discs with radial-mounted calipers and a single rear disc. Suspension comes from fully adjustable inverted front forks and a rear monoshock, tuned for aggressive cornering. Weighing around 450 pounds wet, the GSXR still feels nimble, but wear on key components like swing arm bearings and steering head bushings begins to show at higher mileage. The bike's cockpit offers minimal comfort, with a tucked-in position that favors short-spirited rides over extended tours. When it hit showroom floors, pricing started at approximately $12,299, a bargain for its performance class. However, buyers today are discovering that repairs for failed engine internals or cracked frames are far from cheap. The legend of the GSXR lives on, but many of the early models are limping toward retirement, worn down by the very speed that made them famous. From superbike star to scrapyard risk, our next machine plays the long game until the game plays bad. Number 8. Honda Shadow 1100. It was once a cruiser icon. Simple, dependable, and easy to maintain. But in 2025, the Shadow is showing serious signs of age. Carburetor issues are now the norm, with many owners reporting rough idling, poor fuel economy, and difficulty starting after storage. Electrical reliability has taken a major hit, with aging wiring harnesses, faulty starter relays, and weak charging systems causing intermittent failures. The engine is a liquid-cooled V-twin displacing 1,097 cubic centimeters. It produces approximately 62 horsepower and 71 pound-feet of torque, which gave it respectable performance for its time, but these numbers now pale in comparison to modern mid-size cruisers. The braking system features a single front disc and a rear drum brake, a setup that feels outdated in today's riding environment. Suspension consists of traditional front forks and dual rear shocks, offering limited adjustability and a ride that turns rough on uneven pavement. The bike weighs in at roughly 570 pounds and has a seat height of just under 28 inches, which helps shorter riders feel confident in the saddle. Back in its prime, it sold for around $8,499. Today, that same bike is more likely to sit in a garage with the seat off, tools nearby, and its rider chasing electrical gremlins. While its classic styling and easy ergonomics still attract buyers, the aging technology and increasingly hard-to-find parts have turned this cruiser into a long-term maintenance project rather than a daily rider. Reliability used to be its best trait. Now it is one of its biggest weaknesses. That is a cruiser clinging to the past. Next up is a sport tourer clinging to its warranty. Number 7. Yamaha FJR300. It was built to eat miles, and for years the FJR delivered exactly that. But in 2025, aging examples are riddled with problems that make them less road warrior and more garage queen. The engine is a liquid-cooled inline-4, displacing 1,298 cubic centimeters. It produces roughly 145 horsepower and 102 pound-feet of torque, which gives the FJR tremendous roll-on power and effortless acceleration, even when fully loaded. Unfortunately, mechanical wear is catching up with this long-distance legend. Stator failures and burnout rectifiers plague older units, leading to complete electrical shutdowns. Corrosion in the wiring harness often causes short circuits or starting issues, especially in humid climates. Shaft drive noise and vibration are common past 60,000 miles, with some units needing full rebuilds. Braking is managed by dual front discs and a single rear disc with anti-lock braking standard, while suspension includes adjustable front forks and a rear monoshock that is good when fresh, but costly to replace. The bike weighs in at approximately 643 pounds and features a seat height of around 31 inches. Its fairing offers solid wind protection, and factory panniers enhance touring capacity. Priced new at around $17,499, it offered excellent value. Today, however, maintenance costs can rival the price of the bike itself. What was once a no-nonsense distance machine is now a high-maintenance liability if not perfectly maintained. The FJR remains fast, comfortable, and capable until something critical fails. From comfort kings to combustion concerns, next up is the V-twin that burns hot and brakes hard. Number 6. Honda VTX 1800. It made waves when it launched, offering big bike presence with thunderous torque and old-school looks. But years later, the VTX has gained a different kind of reputation. The engine is a liquid-cooled V-twin measuring 1,795 cubic centimeters. It delivers around 106 horsepower and 120 pounds of torque, which was phenomenal for a cruiser at the time. Despite that, mechanical reliability has become a recurring issue. Intake boots are known to crack, leading to air leaks that ruin throttle response. The shaft drive suffers from spline wear, particularly if maintenance intervals are ignored. Excessive engine vibration has also been blamed for cracked frames and mounting brackets in high-mileage units. Braking is managed by dual front discs and a single rear disc, while suspension includes a conventional front fork and dual rear shocks. The VTX weighs approximately 750 pounds, and though it carries its weight well at highway speed, maneuvering it at low speeds requires muscle and confidence. The seat height sits just under 28 inches, making it approachable for most riders. When new, it retailed at roughly $12,999. Its classic design and raw power still appeal to cruiser fans, but the cost of maintaining it is steadily rising. Many riders now report searching for used replacement parts and dealing with increasingly rare component availability. The VTX delivers in presence, sound, and acceleration, but after 2 decades on the road, it is beginning to show its age in ways that are hard to overlook. Still want a high-capacity twin? Think again. The next one is even more explosive in all the wrong ways. Number 5. Kawasaki Vulcan 2000. With its huge stance, long frame, and heavy chrome accents, the Vulcan 2000 was designed to be a visual and mechanical powerhouse. It is one of the largest V-twin motorcycles ever built, boasting a massive air-cooled engine displacing 2,053 cubic centimeters. It produces approximately 116 horsepower and 141 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the torque-heaviest cruisers ever to hit the market. But all that power comes with a heavy price. Owners have frequently reported overheating issues during warm weather or stop-and-go traffic, caused by limited airflow and marginal cooling system capacity. Fuel pump failures have also become increasingly common with age, especially in models that sit unused for extended periods. The alternator has been another major weak point, with insufficient output to handle accessories like heated grips or additional lighting. This heavyweight machine weighs around 840 pounds wet, making low-speed handling cumbersome. The braking system consists of dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, with a traditional telescopic front fork and twin preload adjustable shocks at the rear. While the ride quality is soft and forgiving on highways, cornering clearance is minimal, and parking it can feel like wrestling a bear. When it first launched, the Vulcan carried a price tag of around $14,499, appealing to riders who wanted a no-compromise cruiser. However, in 2025, it is becoming more associated with costly repairs than open-road dreams. Between failing fuel systems, dated electronics, and its sheer size, the Vulcan 2000 is finding fewer fans as the years roll on. From Vulcan meltdowns to ninja speed self-destruction, the next entry was born for speed but not for survival. If you don't subscribe after all this value, we don't know what will convince you. Seriously, we just saved you from buying a rolling repair bill. Fair trade. Number 4. Kawasaki Ninja ZX14R. This bike was built for one purpose: speed. The Ninja ZX14R took everything Kawasaki learned from the racetrack and put it into a straight-line rocket designed to dominate both drag strips and highways. Under the fairing sits a 1,452 cubic centimeter inline four-cylinder engine. It delivers a blistering 199 horsepower and 113 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the fastest production motorcycles ever made. But keeping that kind of performance in check has proven difficult for long-term owners. Clutch wear is a constant issue, particularly under aggressive launches. Swing arms have been known to crack under repeated stress from high-speed pulls or hard wheelies. Suspension bushings and chain adjusters also degrade faster than average due to the immense strain of the engine's output. The braking system includes dual front discs with radio-mounted calipers and a single rear disc. Suspension is fully adjustable front and rear, with an inverted fork up front and a monoshock rear setup. Wet weight is about 586 pounds, which provides stability at high speed, but makes slow-speed riding less enjoyable. While the Ninja ZX14R originally sold for around $15,499, many are now seeing their resale value drop due to rising maintenance costs. Routine service is expensive, and replacement parts, especially those tied to the drivetrain, are not cheap. While the bike continues to thrill riders with its unmatched straight-line speed, its upkeep and structural issues make it a risky buy in 2025. From warp speed woes to budget bike breakdowns, this next one fails riders before they even hit second gear. Number 3. Suzuki GSX250R. Marketed as an affordable entry into the world of sport bikes, the GSX250R won over new riders with sleek styling and a low price tag. But beneath its sharp looks is a motorcycle that struggles to deliver on long-term reliability. Powering the bike is a liquid-cooled parallel twin engine displacing 248 cubic centimeters. It produces just 25 horsepower and 17 pound-feet of torque, suitable for beginners, but far below competitors like the Ninja 400 or the R3. The lightweight frame weighs only around 390 pounds wet, which makes it easy to maneuver in city traffic or parking lots. However, owners have reported frequent stalling issues, particularly during warm-ups or at low RPMs. Fairing components are notoriously fragile and tend to rattle or crack over time. The suspension setup includes conventional telescopic forks up front and a single rear monoshock, neither of which offer much in the way of damping or comfort. Braking is managed by a single disc up front and a single disc in the rear, with no standard anti-lock braking system on early models. Fuel economy is decent, but long-distance comfort is limited due to the cramped seat and basic ergonomics. While the GSX250R was originally priced at $4,499, its reputation for brittle parts and limited performance has made it an increasingly tough sell, even in the used market. It may look sporty, but its performance and build quality fall short of the standard expected in 2025. Small and struggling. But now we return to the top end of the food chain where failure gets really expensive. Number 2. Kawasaki Concor's 14. Designed as a high-speed touring bike with sport bike DNA, the Concor's 14 promise both comfort and performance across long distances. Underneath the aerodynamic bodywork sits a 1,352 cubic centimeter inline-four engine that delivers approximately 155 horsepower and 103 pounds-feet of torque. This motor is a slightly retuned version of the same power plant used in Kawasaki's flagship Hypersport, giving the Concor's thrilling roll-on acceleration and highway passing power. But as these bikes pass the 40,000-mile mark, riders begin to report serious problems. Rotor warping under prolonged braking is a frequent complaint, especially on extended downhill sections. The cooling fan system has proven underpowered, leading to overheating in warmer climates or traffic. Worse, the electrical system has shown consistent issues including voltage regulator failures, instrument cluster malfunctions, and random stalling episodes. Braking duties are handled by dual front discs with radial-mounted calipers and a single rear disc. Suspension consists of an inverted front fork and a rear monoshock, both adjustable for preload and damping. Weighing in at approximately 690 pounds, the Concor offers a stable ride at speed but becomes top-heavy in parking lots or city congestion. Its tall seat height of around 32 inches makes it better suited for taller riders, though the wind protection and ergos are excellent for high-mile touring. With a new price tag that hovered around $16,299, the Concor was positioned as a high-value alternative to European sport tours. But in 2025, reliability concerns and part sourcing difficulties have pushed it off many riders' lists. It is fast, it is sleek, but it is one electrical gremlin away from leaving you stranded. One more left, and it is a machine so overbuilt it collapsed under its own reputation. Number 1. Suzuki Boulevard M109R. Aggressive, powerful, and unapologetically bold, the M109R was Suzuki's attempt to dominate the power cruiser scene. It features a massive 1,783 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin engine capable of producing 125 horsepower and 118 pound-feet of torque. These specs made it one of the most powerful cruisers ever offered by a Japanese manufacturer. Its styling with a wide rear tire and muscular stance turns heads everywhere it goes. But under that visual bravado, the M109R is plagued with mechanical problems. The most common issue is drive shaft failure, often due to poor lubrication or misalignment. Transmission problems also surface, especially false neutrals and gear engagement failures. Electrical system bugs, particularly within the ECU, cause stalling, rough idle, and speedometer glitches. The bike uses dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc. Suspension duties are handled by an inverted front fork and a single rear monoshock, which offer decent support but struggle on uneven roads due to the bike's stiff ride. The chassis tips the scale at approximately 768 pounds, making it a chore to maneuver in tight spaces. Cornering clearance is limited by design, and the riding position, while aggressive, can become uncomfortable on longer trips. With a factory price close to $13,499, the M109R attracted a loyal following, but many of those riders now face high maintenance costs and shrinking parts availability. In 2025, it remains a bike full of attitude, but lacking the dependability today's riders demand. Looks alone are no longer enough to keep this beast alive. If you've owned one of these bikes or got burned by one, drop your story in the comments. Hit like if you learned something and subscribe if you want more brutally honest breakdowns like this. We'll see you in the next one.